Take it away, Jeremy. Hello, friends at home. Hello, Facebook. Welcome to the show. This is Soundbooth Sessions live from Sellersville Theater. Look at there behind me. Oh, the beautiful Sellersville Theater. My name is Dan. I am the host of the show, doing the sound and the lights. Let's say hello. Jeremy is sitting safely away from me right here in the booth. He is going to be switching the video. Thank you to Jeremy. Way down there, operating the cameras, we have Tim Leslie. Welcome back, Tim. Tim spent some time in Scotland, and he has an accent now. He grew up around here, and now he's got a thick Scottish brogue. It's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, please pick the emoji that best represents your mood at this time, and click on it many times in a row. And join me in welcoming from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Mini Qs.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everyone who's joined us. Thank you to the Sellersville Theater for inviting us to be here today. Man, this is a beautiful, beautiful theater. If you haven't been here, please check out their website. They have a great lineup of acts, and they have just a gorgeous theater here. You don't find theaters like this much anymore, and we really hope that we can, do our part. Everybody play their role in keeping places like this going, keep the music alive. Thank you, Daniel, very much for
amen.
us.
Thank you, Luke, and welcome to the theater and to the show, guys.
Yeah, man.
That masked man over there on the organ, that's Luke Carlos O'Reilly. Nice to have you here. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
In the middle there, that masked man wielding the white guitar. We have Ben O'Neill. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Great to have you guys. Hello to Anwar Marshall on the drums.
Greetings.
Hello there, the Mini Qs. Welcome to the show. Do you want to chat or you want to play? You want to?
You know what? Let's play one more.
Yeah, do a couple more.
Yeah, we'll play at least one more. Maybe by the end of the show we'll get our fingers going and actually be set. We'll be good for the second.
That's right.
We'll be good for the second show.
All those gig and load in muscles have atrophied.
Man, I'm exhausted from the load in, honestly. So
it's rough.
And Dan did most of it.
Dan, you probably that's the most we've probably ever been helped loading into a show. So yeah. He's like, hey, man, let me take that organ on my shoulder and the bass amp on my back. Okay, great. So the first song was a song that we wrote together. That's called The Theme. That's a Mini Q's original. And this next song is a somewhat of a Philly. I don't know if it's a standard. It should be. We consider it a Philly organ swing standard by Cal Massey. This is a song called "These Are Soulful Days."
Very nice.
Thank you. Hey, this actually was a good moment to take a moment and say hi to the people and I don't know. Do we have anybody watching?
We
Daniel?
certainly do.
Okay, wonderful.
We have
wonderful.
they're a very attractive crowd, very good looking crowd here. Let me tell you, Charlie O'Neill is in the crowd. He says he's said a number of things thus far.
That's actually let me stop you before you go any further.
Uh-oh.
Charlie is my mother.
Okay.
So she has
So
said a
she
number of
has
things.
said a
I'm
number
sure.
of things.
I'm sure she has. We love you, Mom.
So we'll say hello to Charlie.
Love you, Mama O'Neill.
My parents are also in the crowd, so hello to my parents. Cindy Rogers Farley is here. She says this is some great jazz. Bill Slade, after a string of clever emojis, says great music to soothe the soul in troubled times. Matt Galletti says sounding amazing, guys.
What's up, Matt?
JT, help me out. Makoviecki says, excellent, go Ben. And Vicky C has a sly smiley face with sunglasses. They're doing great. They're doing great in the crowd, and so are we here. We have somebody in the real crowd. We have real people in the building. Hello to you, sir, whomever you may be.
We're going to shout out our friend. That's our friend John Smith, who I mentioned before.
Hello, John Smith.
Percy's very own John Smith. Thanks for coming out, man.
Hello, John. Well, the Mini Qs. It is so nice to have you here. If you don't mind, I'll take a moment and just ask you a little bit about yourselves. I know that the legend of the group, many years ago, you were hosting an open mic together. Is that right? Was it the two of you or the three of you, or who was hosting the open mic?
I did all the work, if I'm honest. No, it was me and Luke, and over the years we've played with a number of really talented drummers, and we've been so fortunate to have Anwar with us in the last several years. But yeah, we were just kids out of college and started a Monday night jam that lasted for a long time, and played hours and hours and hours together, and that's how we got it together.
Now, so you started the thing together. And you met in school. So I'm curious. Do you recall the moment that you first heard each other play and said, "I gotta get involved with this fella"?
Ben's shaking his head.
Your side of the story is more fun, so go ahead.
Yeah. So, your mother's on, so I'm gonna be no. So this is probably 2001 or maybe 2002. I was playing with an artist named Lady Alma, who's a house soul artist.
She's still killing.
She's still killing.
Such
She's awesome.
a badass.
She did really well in Europe. I don't think that we Americans ever caught on to how badass she is. But shout out to Alma Horton if she's out there. But so there's a show in Rittenhouse Square, and I was playing with Lady Alma, and Vivian Green was was it Who was it?
It was a group called the Aries Twins,
Aries
which never
Twins, yeah,
quite.
sorry.
But it was the same. It was that time in Philadelphia when
Yeah.
there was a lot of soul music getting made. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Aries Twins, and I kind of came up, and these guys were on stage, Ben, and I remember Ty Tribbett was on keys, and Spanky, I think, was on drums. Wow. Great band, and I was friendly with Spanky, and
Great names too.
Yeah, great name. If you're a great musician, you got to have a name, man. So Ben, formerly known as Bananas, I don't think he lets us call him that anymore. But anyways, I came on stage and I was like, hey man, wow, you guys sound great. They're just sound checking, and Ben was kind of like, cool, yeah, cool. And I was like, oh man. I was like, all right, this guy. I mean, he probably can't even play. He was crushing. He was absolutely crushing. And I was like, all right, cool. And then we met later. We kind of reconnected at a jam session at Chris's Jazz Cafe. And he was really nice to me that time. And he didn't remember who I was, of course. No, it was just I first met him. He was kind of doing his thing, and it was great to hear him. And then it was really cool at that jam session. We were kind of like, all right, we should play some music together. You know how young kids in college are like, hey man, you want to jam?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Right.
And then Ben's friend Todd, it was a Todd Irk. I think it was Todd that hooked us up with that that gig. It was one of your friends called him and was like, "Hey, we got this steakhouse called Marmont, and they want to do live music." And I think he did. I think he might have played with us once or something.
Which seems like a crazy thing to say, but at the time, it made sense. There was no sound system in there. It was very DIY, and I don't know, it turned into a thing.
It turned into a thing, man. I bought my first organ from Pete Kuzma for $500. That organ still works. Thanks, Pete.
Shout out to Pete. Too.
Yeah, shout out to Pete. Yeah, shout out to Pete out there in San Diego. But and man, we played for I think maybe 3 years straight every Monday, and from that we got another Tuesday night gig up in New Hope every Tuesday. And so we started playing 2-3 gigs a week together. So I mean, you do that for 3 years, and you kind of get a little comfortable with each other, And here we are. We took a little hiatus as Ben toured the world with John Legend and Jill Scott and some amazing artists.
Two pretty nice name drops there.
Yeah. There's a few more on there, but the more names I name, the more he'll shake his head at me. And Anwar and I, and then I'll shut up because I think that I probably have that thing where I've been in the house too much, and I'm like, oh man, I can
Someone to talk to. Oh my
Somebody
goodness.
to talk to. Who cares?
That's all right. We all are looking forward to that, so that's good.
But Anwar and I had started playing together, jazz stuff, and I kind of was like, Ben, man, we need to get this guy Anwar. He's really killing cat, and he can play funk and soul and R&B. And at Marmont, we were kind of acting as a DJ because they usually had DJs. Okay. So we'd go from like a hip hop song, we'd go from Kanye, then we'd throw in a Beatles song, then the Stevie Wonder, then we'd go back to, something else on the radio. We played like the Blur, we played as many different genres as possible in a 3-hour period. Wow! And sometimes we would just play for an hour and a half straight without stopping. So.
Now, tell me, when you're sort of genre hopping like that and just picking songs out of the air to play them, is there any premeditation to any rehearsal, or is it just ready, set, go, see what happens?
Well, fortunately, because we've spent so many hours playing together, we have a pretty good near telepathy with some of that stuff.
Right.
But lately, we've been getting together and really digging into records that we love and learning new material.
Right.
And so it's been, I think initially it was, we developed that relationship on the fly, and lately we've been being more intentional about it.
I see. Yeah. So when did the group sort of become the official? Did you just name the project that was already happening, and you just named it the Mini Qs, or was by naming it, did it take on a new life and a new intention? And
that's a great question, but I don't actually remember when it got the name. I know what the name is about, but I don't remember when we named it.
I remember because back when flyers were a thing.
The flyers? Like gig flyers.
Actually, yeah, physical flyers, not e-flyers, nothing online.
Paper, actual paper.
Paper that you could put it into somebody's hand and say, hey, come out and check us out. So we got, the club wanted to make some flyers, and they wanted to get, invite some people. And I think they were probably like, well, what do we call you guys? And I'm sure Ben and I had a conversation like, yo, we need to get a name. And Ben, you can tell us about the name.
Well, the Qtron is a funky envelope filter. It sounds very funky. Exactly. It's like an Ottawa. Yep. That's it. And they make a micro Qtron, and actually they don't make a mini Qtron, which is probably good for us.
Yeah, it's great for us.
Yeah. So anyway, we're the mini Qs because we're kind of funky.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, and last question, and then we'll do some more music, and we'll stop yapping give these people some music, for goodness sakes. But I'm just curious because as I listened through your albums, which by the way there is a new album out. It's great. It's called the Mini Qs Live. Show them the cover of it there, Jeremy. There it is. It's up on your screen now. Great record. Just came out in December. As you listen through that and through some of your back catalog, there's you've interpreted a lot of well-known songs, and I'm curious. First, what are the characteristics that make a good Mini Qs song? Like as you're listening through music, obviously there's some that don't make the cut and some that do, but like, which are the ones? What are the characteristics of the ones that stick, that are going to have some legs and record and put on a record?
Well, whatever we're gonna play, it's got to be funky.
It's got to be funky.
It's got to be funky. Funk and soul is kind of our our backbone. I mean, I think Ben, I hope he doesn't get offended by this, but he's kind of a country cat, he brings this kind of country twang. He'd show up to the gigs with a beautiful country boots and like his, and but he has that vibe. It's cool. So he would bring in Beatles songs, and we've done a bunch of Beatles stuff, and some of the country stuff that we do. And then I'm kind of from the funk and soul and play a lot of jazz, and we kind of meet in the middle with the organ thing, which is not really a thing as much anymore. Just the organ vibe, organ trios. We're really an organ trio, obviously, but we try to listen to some organ trio stuff and see what they were doing back in the day, the Don Patterson, Pat Martino stuff, Shirley Scott, of course Jimmy and Jimmy Smith and whatnot. But we try to listen to a lot of organ stuff, and then anything that we think might work for the group, we'll kind of bring it in. Hey man, I was listening to this song, we should try it out, and if we try it and it feels good, then we'll keep it. If we try it and then it's too tough or doesn't really sit well, then we just leave it alone. But it's all I think Ben and I especially meet with the soulful thing, and then Anwar, man, he makes, we kind of don't even worry about Anwar because he just makes anything sound good.
Right. Hopefully,
it's really, if Ben and I can get our stuff together, we know that he's just going to fall into place.
And this next song is a great example of that, actually, where I was like, this is such a good song. We should do this song. Yo, Anwar, play this.
Oh, well, set it up, guys. What are we getting into?
So this is "And I Love Her" by the Beatles. One second. Gotcha.
I'll give you 3. 1, 2, 3.
Boy, that's nice. Oh, nice work there, guys. We had And I Love Her, of course, in Georgia. Boy.
So that was the first audible there. We did a set list tonight, and we very often don't stick to the set list. It kind of just made sense to slide into Georgia there,
You got to do what you feel.
and that's one of the greatest songs of all time.
So you picked two songs there, right? That both have they're beautiful songs, but they also have such great lyrics. So now, as you're playing them, do you assume that the people at home know the words and are kind of singing along, or talk a little bit about that, if you would, like when you're playing a song with such strong lyrics, how do you then interpret that musically?
That's a good question. One thing that I always reference is some of our favorite recordings, jazz recordings from the 50s and 60s and 70s. People were playing pop tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing even some of the great Miles Davis recordings, he was playing popular songs from musicals. You know?
Right.
And then you get into the 60s and people were playing Beatles songs on Blue Note records. So I think, to me, the lyric component is important to the song, but the melody and the harmony stick together in such a way that even without the lyrics, the song speaks for itself.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, it certainly does.
And I will mention, Ben is an amazing vocalist. I mean, he has his own project out where he's doing a lot of singing, a lot of original songs.
Oh, nice.
We might be able to get him to sing a song tonight, but he tends to kind of come forth with songs that have really kind of strong lyrics. So he might mention a Bob Dylan tune.
Right.
Bob Dylan, not necessarily being the greatest vocalist of all time, but a great lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really cool because he comes from sometimes a very lyrical point of view.
Yeah.
Where I might not even know the lyrics to a whole song that I play. And I'm trying to get better with that.
That's what I was wondering if, are you singing the lyrics in your head as you play, or has it turned into just melody? Like, do you interpret the verses differently based on what the lyric is from verse to verse?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that song, I grew up on Ray Charles. Probably one of my first CDs when I was maybe 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Stole it from my dad. And he listened. My dad. Oof, sorry. My dad listened. My dad listened to a lot of Ray Charles and Otis Redding, and so he got me into that type of music. Sorry, he passed a couple years ago, so I didn't think that mentioning him was gonna hit me, but it always hits you different. But anyways, he got me into the Ray Charles, soulful but very meaningful music. Great, as you said, great lyrics, and stands anything that stands the test of time. If it's a song that we're still talking about today, and people still know, then that means that somebody out there, even if it's our parents or something, somebody out there is recognizing the song.
Right.
And that's one thing we like to do on the gig is like we like everybody in the room at some point to pick up their head and be like, what?
What? I
Is
can't
this
believe they're doing that.
Is this Nirvana? Yeah, we're playing Nirvana. Wait a second, is this Wiz Khalifa? What's he doing? So we kind of like to touch base with our audience like that.
Love it. Yeah, the audience is digging it right now. My mom is saying she loves this, jazzing up the Beatles, wonderful. Cindy Rogers Farley says, "Oh, the Beatles, nice. A lot of love for the Beatles. They were all right, those guys. They did some good stuff." Amy Harding, thank you for bringing us live music. Luke, Ben, Anwar, you guys rock.
Hey, Amy, we miss you. Amy we know Amy from the Kimmel Center. She's done a lot of work with them, and I believe she's actually doing some other work now. But we wish her the best, and I hope we run into her soon. I've basically any show that we've done at the Kimmel Center, Amy was the go-to.
Indispensable.
Excellent.
Right.
Kimmel
And-
Center in the house.
Amy, I just wanted to say one quick thing. The back of your head makes a cameo in one of our videos that's on our YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/miniqmusic, there's several new videos from our live album at South. And my folks, you can see my folks for 2 seconds, and Amy, your head is in there for just a second. You were there. You were in the house. Thank you.
Go check it out, everybody. Jill O'Reilly is excited about Georgia, she says. She loves
Mom. Mom, my mother stayed up. Okay, she said she was like, I'll check it out tomorrow. I'm going to bed.
Moms are representing. Vicky C, thank you, relaxing us with your music. I'm definitely chilled now. We got waves, we got lots of fire, we got lots of hearts. Amy replies that she misses you guys.
Likewise.
April Alex gave you some purple hearts. Beautiful.
Hey.
Where's Anwar's mom is what I want to know. She's not on Facebook. She's protesting Facebook.
The night is young.
I can understand.
All right, guys, what's next?
So this is a show that none of us grew up watching. It's just a couple of years, out of our age range, but it's a great theme song. I would like to do an album of theme songs at some point.
Do it.
There's some great theme songs out there, especially from the 60s and 70s, and this is one of them. This is the theme from The Odd Couple.
Very nice.
Again, that is a theme from The Odd Couple.
April Alex reports that she's always whistling that and never knew that it was from The Odd Couple. And Josh Robinson says, amazing musicians and equally amazing human beings. Miss you guys.
Josh, miss you, man. That's a
Josh, what
is a
up?
great percussionist, amazing musician.
Hello, Josh.
We used to, man, 2 years ago at this time, we would be in the middle of a residency together, working with kids and, creating music and making drums and doing all that, doing
Whoa.
poetry. So,
Tell me more about that. What was that project?
Oh, we did several. We we did a tour of Delaware one time. We went to Josh does a lot of like healing work and a lot of music therapy type of work with his music. So we did basically a tour of Delaware where we were going to all these different nursing homes and all these different any place that would kind of take us in for an afternoon, and especially elderly people or anybody that had maybe some mental disabilities and whatnot, and working with them and trying to create some music and bring some fun and music and art to their lives. And we did some really great projects together.
That's wonderful.
I hope that we get back to that at some point, but we never know what that's going to look like.
Right. Well, the music is the therapy I think we all need, right? I think we're proving how necessary it is, and wow, what a nice sounding project there.
So you want us to jump into another song, or you got a couple more questions for us?
Oh man, we'll talk all night. But yeah, let's hear some more music. I definitely want to talk to you some more, but let's hear more.
So we're gonna go back into the set list. This is a song that I honestly forget if you brought this or if I brought this. I brought this. Okay. So I've been trying to get into, partly because of Ben, but I've been trying to get into some country music, some Hank Williams, and Ray Charles has a great country and western album. Charlie Pride, who just passed away, and one of my there we go again. One of my dad's favorite country artists back in the day was Patsy Cline, because that was his mother's favorite artist, and she was a bad, like my mom's on here, so she was a bad Joan. She had some great songs. I mean, people know Crazy,
right?
But I mean, I like this song way. I think this song's probably better than Crazy. So just kind of searching stuff for us to do. So this is She's Got You. This is our version of She's Got You.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Give me two. 1, 2.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the smooth sounds of the mini cues. You guys sound so good.
Thank you, man.
The crowd is loving it, and crowd friends at home on Facebook, I know you're enjoying the show. Please remember that this evening you can help support the arts by contributing your hard-earned dollars to this wonderful, deserving band, the Mini Qs. There are links that have been posted in the comments section. There are links that are in the event. Oops, lost my mic. The event description, and also they should have just popped up onto your screen. There's a Venmo, there's a PayPal. Dawn is in the box office, ready for your call if you don't have a Venmo or a PayPal. So take that inspiration that you just got from that last tune and do something with it. You can click on those links or call the box office 215-257-5808, 215-257-5808. And now back to the mini cues. Luke, can I ask you a question?
Please.
About playing organ in this context. I'm wondering, are you thinking like a bass player with your left hand, or what's the relationship between your left hand and like what a bass player in the band would be doing?
Well, when it started, I started playing a lot of left-hand bass in high school. I'd play. One of my best friends was a guitarist. Sasha Brown was, he's still a touring musician. He played jazz, but he played rock as well. But, we did a lot of jazz stuff together where I'd do left-hand bass. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I bought a Rhodes. My first kind of trio gig was, playing left-hand bass was playing Rhodes, which worked, but it wasn't, it wasn't perfect. So when I got that organ from Pete Kuzma, I started, it was kind of natural for me because I'd been playing it for a while, the left-hand bass. But then I started realizing I was playing a lot of stuff that just didn't really make sense for a bass player, and
What, it was like too acrobatic? Or
yeah, it might be some stuff that just like a bass player would never play that way because it just doesn't make sense. I play like that much bass. I took some lessons to try to get an understanding. And I'm saying all this, getting all nervous because John Smith is in the audience, one of the best bass players that I've ever played with. But so I started listening to, there's a band called Stuff from back in the day that we do a lot of, we do several songs that they did.
Okay.
Great band, Steve Gadd and Cornell Dupree, Eric Gales, just an amazing band. If y'all enjoy what we're doing, I'm sure that y'all would enjoy that band. But anyways, I started listening to a little bit more of the bass player, of what he was doing for that kind of thing, and listening to cats like Pino Palladino, who's an amazing bass player today. Pino was great because he sometimes walks the bass lines. Like he'll be playing a pocket song, but he'll be like walking. With a kind of a muted bass sound. So, listening to that kind of stuff, I started trying to come up with some bass stuff that would make more sense for a bass player.
I see.
To be honest, when we play, I probably just let that stuff go, but hopefully it kind of leaks into my playing, so I'm not just playing all this crazy stuff that just doesn't make sense. So I do try to keep that in mind. I love bass players. I have a trio with Anwar as well, and I'm actually releasing an album in a little bit with one of my groups, and I always, bass is probably one of the first instruments that I think of for the group. Like, who's going to be the bass player? So it's kind of fun, in a very selfish way. It's kind of fun to have that role, and it makes the connection between Ben and I kind of a little closer because if he has an idea and I can read his mind by the fluttering of his eyes or something, If I catch it, then we got it. And Anwar, as always, man, he just catches it right away.
That's incredible.
So, having that left-hand bass allows us to go places that we wouldn't be able to go probably if we had to have another member that was kind of in tune with what we were doing.
Like less cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
Sort of deal.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. So, with no disrespect to bass players, I'm wondering, like, what are the pros and cons of not having that fourth brain on stage, or that fourth member? I'm sure there's certain things you miss. So maybe start there, just to throw some love to, I'm a bass player. Poor John in the audience is being insulted by your left hand. And Dawn is a bass player. So, we're all giving you the stink eye, Luke. But
Before Ben answers, I want to hear your answer. I'm sorry, but one of the reasons why I started playing bass was because when he came to me, he was like, "Yeah, man, there's not a lot of money, you know," and we were kind of like, "Well, there goes the bass player. We'll just, I'll play left-hand bass on that
so
gig back
funny.
in the day." So it was kind of more of a financial move at the beginning, but now it's become a very musical move.
I understand.
One plus about the trio is that it's all hands on deck all the time. So I feel like I'm very much married to Anwar's snare and hat, and we all have to be connected with what's going on, and
Right.
that's a unique environment. Any trio is kind of like that, but the organ trio being its own sort of subgenre that exists in its own way is cool. Anwar, I'm interested in what it's like for you to play with an organ
Right.
trio, because as a drummer, of course, you're usually looking for the bass player.
Man, go easy on me, man. Go easy. He's played with some of the best bass players in the world, man. Go easy.
I think the main difference in going, sort of going back to what you were saying earlier about the traditional jazz organ trio format is that instead of, for one, obviously it's a separate instrument, but when the bass and the harmony and the melody is coming from one person instead of two, it's just different. It's more together in a way than it would be with another person in a
Right.
band. If that makes any sense.
More cohesive.
Cohesive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, this is probably the first time we've played. Usually, Anwar is in the middle, and I'm right next to him, so my bass amp is right on his
Oh,
side.
sorry. I forced that on you for the
No,
for
but
the
the-
camera angles.
But the audio has been so wonderful here at Sellersville Theater that we mentioned that right away. We were like, oh, this is different, but we have great monitors, so it doesn't matter.
That's very kind of you. Now, does that change things for you too, Ben? Like, I wonder with your comping and with your voicing choices, are you also then is it like a zone defense where like when he switches his right hand into solo mode, you take over as the right hand of the organ and
Yes, it's very much like that. But I love this genre. Like if you're into jazz, you might get into piano trios, or you might get into jazz vocalists, or you might get into big bands or whatever. But I love the genre of organ trios. So the way guitar players approach that, Grant Green and Pat Martino and young George Benson, and that's my jam. You know what I mean? So I love that vocabulary anyway.
Right.
So that's very much. It's just a pleasure to try to like make it work, And then for us, one of the challenges is to try to, we were just talking about this backstage, is to try to do something that sounds like maybe the Meters would do it, or to
Right.
do something that Patsy Cline did, or, which I sort of enjoy taking this setting through all those perspectives.
well, it works. Do you feel like is there a resurgence of this configuration coming that you've noticed? And it may be that I have a weird perspective on it because it happens that we've had 3 on this show so far. We had Hambone Relay, and 400 Bears has an organ trio configuration of it. So it just feels like there's more organ trios around. But from your perspective, is there?
I think you're just hip, man.
I think- yeah,
that's
I think you
right.
just like got your ear to some good stuff.
yeah, that's it.
I think it's because it's easy to get 3 guys to show up to play. Now, I saw some of the Hambone Relay Soundbooth sessions that you did. It was great. They were great.
They're great. They're great, and the music is great, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The people are happy.
Hey,
Let's give the people some more music. Where are we going next? Oh yeah.
this is another original that I wrote. I call this 50 Ways to Leave
Your bass player.
Your Bass Player. Thank you, John. We got our friend John. Our friend John's out here clapping. I appreciate that, man. So that was, of course, Paul Simon's 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And we threw in a little Anne-Marie, One Thing, which is a, throwback from back in college days. I think we were in college when that came out. And funny thing, we heard that. We heard that in the song. I don't know who suggested it, probably Ben, I think. And that song actually is taken from a Meters song. The Anne-Marie is a sample of a Meters, and the Meters literally play it once. They're in the middle of some funky song. They just hit that once and they move on. And one kind of fun thing to do for us is we'll do that. We'll check out, well, where's that song from? Because that's sometimes stuff is just too funky. Like that's too funky to be new.
They didn't change a thing on that. They bumped up a little bit more kick, and they just let that meter sample ride.
Oh yeah.
And it knocked on the radio in like 2004.
Oh, it's killing. It's killing. Meanwhile, it was just like it was like 20, not even 20 seconds of like this kind of not even obscure Meters tune, but it's not one of the songs that you usually think of. So, we got to think a couple more songs for you here. I mean, I'm gonna ask Ben. Do you mind? You feel like singing a song for us? Yeah. Ben's gonna.
Good.
Yeah, Ben's gonna sing.
We're doing that now.
Sing a song real quick.
And this is a beautiful track off of your most recent album, which is a live one, the Mini Q's Live, available now, Bandcamp. I was listening to it on Apple Music.
Apple Music, yeah.
It's
great. Where did you record it?
Thanks. We recorded it live at South, which is one of the great jazz clubs in town. And we're happy to do it there, and we're happy to release it on Spring Garden Records, our record label. And you can head over to springgardenrecords.bandcamp.com to check out a whole slew of artists that they have on there that they've put out, including our new The Mini Q's Live. Yeah, we're really happy. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's also the home of Arthur Thomas at the Funkatorium.
Yes.
Who we are acquainted with. Yeah, it's a great record, guys. Nicely done. How long ago did you record it?
We recorded it Thanksgiving weekend a year ago.
I see.
And so it took us about a year to come out. We would have brought it out earlier, but then, of course, there was this pandemic. We weren't really sure, does it make sense to release music? And then at a certain point, we thought, well, let's let the world have it. And then, interestingly, we've really appreciated all the support we've got from the fans. And then we've had some fun things to do, like this. We put it out, and I'm sure we wouldn't be here if we hadn't put that out. So thanks so much for, reaching out to us.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great timing for us.
Yeah, well, it's great timing for the listeners, too. I mean, you mentioned music therapy earlier. They need some of this good new music.
And trust me, we need it, too. We went in the studio recently in January to start cutting our next album. And
nice.
That Patsy Cline song that we just played earlier, that's one of the cuts off that record. And we're just trying to make music. We really enjoy playing together. Like I was telling you, we were talking before the show. This kind of became one of those projects that, Ben would be out on tour, I'd be out on tour or something, or doing some gigs up in New York. Anwar would be on tour or up in New York, and we'd just kind of get back together for a week and be like, hey, let's can we make this date happen? And we'd do it. So it's kind of I guess they call it a labor of love. I mean, I think being a musician is always a labor of love, but this is a project that we've always just really enjoyed playing together. There was about maybe 8 years in there that we it didn't make sense.
Right.
So we kind of took a little break, but we're just really happy to have some new music for y'all.
Well, since you mentioned it, just because it's a segue there, you name dropped some serious heavy hitters earlier, and you guys have been touring around the country, if not the world, a part of lots of other musical projects. What is the musical itch that this project scratches for you?
Man,
That's a great question.
You're knocking it out of the ballpark, man.
You're auditioning for NPR. This is not. You're going to turn Soundbooth Sessions into a Netflix series.
Hey, that'd be nice. Netflix, if you're listening, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Look. we've been very fortunate as individuals to have careers in a few different lanes, as educators, as sidemen. Anwar's played with literally the greatest guitar players in the world. That's really true.
Give us
like Pat Metheny and Kurt Rosenwinkel and Russell Malone. So the fact that he gets on stage with me sometimes is pretty intense.
Wow.
But I think one thing that I love about playing with Anwar is that I never have to explain what I'm going for. Like, I never had to explain to him, this is what an organ trio is. He loves music the same way that we do. And Luke and I have always, we bonded over Ray Charles or the great songwriting of Paul Simon or something like that, or Wynton Kelly, soulful jazz music or whatever. And we have an opportunity together to, pick the material, have fun playing it, come up with creative ways of interpreting it. Mm-hmm. And then also, one thing is that, musicians know this, every once in a while, maybe once, maybe twice in your career, you run into people that you have a sort of unusual, sort of near telepathic musical connection with. Yes. And Luke is that person for me. So, that's great. That's, you're not going to walk away from that.
Right.
And I'll throw in, sometimes you play gigs and hopefully, if somebody you played with before, you like the people, and you might be friends, you might grab a drink after the gig, but with this group, we really are like close friends. I mean, Anwar and I have played a million gigs together. I mean, he's on, we're on several albums now. I can't even really count. And Ben and I have been, very close friends for, 18 some odd years or something like that. Wow. So it's really, there's just a lot of love there, and it's just really fun for us. We this is almost like the going back to high school garage band for us.
Wow.
Like just hanging out, getting some good food. I mean, we used to do gigs where literally we would just walk away with full bellies, and gas money if we were lucky, So just a hang. So we just really enjoy playing together, that's the main thing.
It comes across, guys. It comes across.
So I think maybe we'll try to slide. Dan, we don't want to take over your whole thing here. I think we'll slide two quick songs in.
Do it,
if that's okay.
Absolutely.
This first one is it's another Paul Simon song. I hope he doesn't find out that we're just like playing his whole catalog.
I think he'd be into it.
And this is kind of a la the Ray Charles version. This is Still Crazy After All These Years.
I met my old lover on the street last night. Seemed so glad to see me, I just smiled. And we talked about some old times, and we drank ourselves some beers. But she's still crazy after all these years. Oh, she's still crazy after all these years. Tends to socialize. I seem to lean on old familiar ways, and I ain't no fool for love songs that whisper in my ears. But I'm still crazy after all these years. Said I am still crazy after all these years. 4 in the morning, I'm tapped out, I'm yawning, longing my life away. I never worry, why should I? It's all gonna fade. it's all gonna fade. Well, I sit by my window and I watch the cars. I fear I'll do some damage one fine day, but I would not be convicted by a jury of my peers, no, 'cause I'm still crazy after all these years. Did you know I am? I'm still crazy. Still crazy. Still crazy. Still crazy. Still crazy. Still crazy after all these years. Still crazy. Still crazy after all these years.
Boy, that was nice.
Ben O'Neill, y'all, on vocals. And you know what?
Thank you.
So many people don't really know that Ben can sing. Like, a lot of musicians, play their instrument and they could sing a little bit, Onward can sing, I sing a little bit, but Ben sings.
Sang.
He sings his ass off, man. So I think with time, I mean, like I said, sometimes we'll do a set for 2 hours, 3 hours straight. So I think we'll play one more song and say our goodbyes.
All right. Well, this has been an absolute delight.
Cheers, man.
Absolutely love this. Before you go, can I ask you another question?
Please.
So I know you guys are educators as well, and of course we appreciate all of our teachers and our mentors, and we do a thing called the teacher feature, where if you wouldn't mind, please, if you could shout out and tell us a little bit about someone in your life who was an inspiration, pivotal in your personal or musical development, mentor or teacher.
I'll throw a few out there. My mother and my father. My mother plays piano. She just got back into it.
Yeah.
And she will make me cry playing some Chopin. She's actually a more gifted musician than she knows. My dad couldn't clap, on the 1, 2, 3, and 4, but his love for music really inspired me.
Yeah.
I had a teacher. I think everybody had a teacher at some point. My teacher, Jeff Leonard, who's he's retired now, but he just held down the whole program, and he had me, into jazz from an early age. And I was playing saxophone in big band, and he gave me the opportunity to run the middle school ensemble when I was in high school.
Wow.
So, and he
Cool.
really put together something that was very special for a lot of us. And then in these more recent years, I'd say, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it as short as possible.
No, keep going, man.
A couple of artists that I played with, John Blake, amazing violinist that Anwar and I were playing with before he passed. Just a great person, great mentor. Gerald Veasley, who
is there something that he taught you? Something
I mean, man, there's not one thing.
Yeah.
He's just he was just such a humble soul and such a bad cat. It's just whenever you read, kind of meet somebody who's just really killing.
Yeah.
But they're cool and they got stories and they're willing to kind of bestow their knowledge without forcing it upon you. Like, listen here, young buck, you got to learn. No, it wasn't. He just really him and then Gerald Veasley, who's a great bass player in Philadelphia,
bass player, for sure.
And he's kind of taken me under his wing and hired me for a lot of gigs that I wouldn't have probably gotten without him.
Wow.
And then Orrin Evans, who's a good friend of Anwar and myself, and we're actually label mates thanks to Orrin. We're on Imani Records, which is Orrin's record label. So those are a few of the people who have been really, really inspirational for me. And then also Curtis Fuller was a big inspiration.
Okay.
I was playing with Curtis Fuller for several years, and he was just to play with like a legendary cat like that. And he gave me a lot of stories. I learned a lot from him. So sorry, I could keep on going. I think I'm all in my fields today.
Oh, we love hearing about it. It's nice.
What about you guys?
I would say for me, also my mother and father are really, really incredible musicians. I don't say that to brag on my family, but they're like really good.
I love that. What do they play and what do they do?
My mom is a retired music teacher, but also a choir director, pianist, amazing vocalist. She plays French horn too.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Plays pipe organ. She actually just got for Christmas, my dad got her a something similar to what Luke is playing tonight, like a Hammond B3, but of course, getting a real Hammond B3 in our house it wasn't really an
quite
option.
a project.
So, yeah. But I would say, of course, my mom and my dad, but also both of my brothers. My brothers are, both of them are at least hip hop encyclopedias, but also just music in general.
Right. Are they older brothers?
Yeah, I'm the youngest. Yeah.
Okay.
2 older brothers.
So they showed you the good stuff.
Oh, for sure. And my middle brother he's a great producer. He goes by Small Professor. So if you're ever on scouring the internet for new instrumental hip hop to check him out. My first drum teacher, Carl Matola, was a big inspiration on me. I studied with him from probably about 4th grade to 12th grade. You might not know his name, but if you've ever watched Channel 6, I think it's Channel 6 News, he plays on the theme song.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so. Let's see, we already said Orrin Evans. And I'll add Byron Landon. He's an incredible drummer still playing in Philly. He gave me a lot of gigs at Ortlieb's Jazz House when I was first kind of getting my feet under me, playing straight ahead jazz, and I definitely wouldn't be doing this today if it wasn't for him, and just the whole Philadelphia music community.
It seems to be a good place to make music.
One of the best in the world.
Right on.
For sure.
Go Philly. Thank you, Anwar.
Similarly, my folks, my mother, picking me up from all those band practices, every marching band and concert band and everything possible.
Oh, gotta love it.
And taking me to concerts, and my older brother who played piano first, and then I played piano, and then he played trumpet, and then I played trumpet. So my brother was a big early influence, and also an old friend named Topher Yorks, who sort of started out as a music teacher, and then he started booking us some gigs at coffee shops and a couple of bars, and really gave me my first experience performing out. And then in Philadelphia, I mean, we could talk forever about this. I have to mention the legendary Pat Martino, who is just means a great deal to me.
Did you know him personally? Did you play with him?
Yes. We've been very fortunate to share the stage with him a few times.
Wow.
At Chris's. And yeah, Pat made a huge difference in my life. And I also want to mention Randy Boland, who is an incredible guitar player. And one of the most important things he taught me was how to be excellent and gracious. Because he is both of those things. I'm maybe gracious. I'm working on it. Randy. I'm getting there.
It's a great lesson. Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, thanks again for having us. Thank you to Sellersville Theater and all the staff here. This has been a great experience for us. I really hope to come back here, whether it be during COVID or outside of COVID with more than just, a few people in the audience. That'd be great.
Oh, you'll be back, man.
Yeah, but either way, John Smith, thank you for holding down the audience for us.
John.
Thank you,
We
John.
love you, brother.
Son of Ken Smith from Ken Smith Basses.
Yes,
correct?
indeed.
Oh,
Indeed.
those are beauties.
Indeed.
Nice to have you guys.
So we're gonna end with we part of our kind of our thing is that we love doing church music. We love doing hymns. Ben has been playing in church for years. I've been playing at my church for 8 years. Onward grew up playing in church, and so church is kind of in us. And so our most recent, we kind of go through different stages of. Right now we're playing, Go Down Moses or Jericho. Or, right now we've been kind of digging on this song. It's called Down by the Riverside. again, we are the Mini Qs. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for tuning in online. Thank you once again to Sellersville Theater for having us, for hosting us today. We've had a great time playing for y'all. We do have our CD is available at our Bandcamp site, which is on the Spring Garden Records Bandcamp. We have more music coming out very soon. If you want to connect with us, we are on Instagram, The Mini Qs on Instagram, and we individually all have Instagram and Facebook accounts. Please check out Sellersville Theater, follow them, like their page, and check out the things they're doing here. You know, they're doing some great things here during this time. We're going to get out of your way. Thanks once again for joining us. We are the Mini Qs.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mini Qs. What an incredible show. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Anwar. Great job. And thank you to you at home. This has been just a wonderful time. I have absolutely loved this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your clicks. Thank you for your contributions. Of course, they just mentioned it to you. The Mini Qs have a new album out. You want to show it to them? Thank you, Jeremy. There it is, the Mini Qs live. Now you know what you're looking for. That is our show, folks. And I want to say thank you to Jeremy, who was switching the video for us. I want to say thank you to Tim, who was down there catching all the zoom-ins and the close-ups and the pans and the tilts. Thank you to Allie in the comments section. I saw she was giving you all kinds of information down there, keeping you guys engaged. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being here. A reminder that next week we'll be here with the Micah Graves Project. It's going to be another incredible night of music, just like this one was. This is Soundbooth Sessions. Every week we feature a concert and a conversation with an artist we love. And oh boy, did I love that. So thank you all for being here. And we are going to get out of here right now. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.